Hey y'all, I'm out here harvesting some stuff. I'm nice and sweaty. I got me one of them selfie sticks, so I quit putting my finger in front of the camera. So forgive me if this video isn't very good quality because I have no idea what I'm doing. But anyway, I had to come out here and harvest some of this stuff, and it's starting to get warm. But I wanted to show you, because I've talked so much about Tulsi, which is also known as holy basil, and the type of Tulsi that I have growing is Kapoor. There are other, like Krishna, and I can't remember, Rama I think is another one. There's several different kinds of Tulsi, but what I've been growing here is Kapoor Tulsi. So, but it's also known as holy basil. So I wanted to, I'm pulling in this last bed down here by the bees. I'm just pulling all this Tulsi up, which I pulled up one of my danshins. I'm sad about that. I didn't pull it up, the root was left in there. So hopefully it'll come back. But it's choking out the danshin, so I kind of want to get it out of this bed, and it's going to seed. So there's going to be Tulsi everywhere before long. So since I've got a whole bunch in the other bed and I've already harvested a lot, I'm going to just pull this up, and we're going to be cutting the roots off of the bottom so I can keep the dirt out of the herbs that I'm going to be drying to make teas and tinctures and stuff. But I wanted to show you what they look like when I'm pulling them up, and what they're looking like now that they're going to seed, and kind of get you a little more familiar with holy basil. You guys are probably tired of me talking about it, but it's an amazing herb. If you don't, I need to, maybe I'll add a tidbit on the end of this talking about what it's good for, and that's a good idea. And maybe that will coerce you into getting some seeds and growing it, because it's an amazing herb, adaptogen herb. So I'm going to flip this camera around and show you the Tulsi bed and what we're doing. I hope I can do this with one hand. I'm going to try anyway. Okay, so hang on. Okay, so here's the Tulsi bed, and you can see all of these little seed, these flowers have went to seed. So see where it's turning kind of brown. So if I leave this, it's going to throw all these seeds out. And actually, after I dry these and I take all the herb off of it, I kind of just throw the stems and seeds and stuff into the compost. And that's probably why I have Tulsi everywhere, because I just kind of toss them. And that's why they're growing out in the yard and everywhere else. So, but what I'm doing, you can see down in this little hole where I've been digging. But see, we've got some, see this, you can tell this leaf here, this is my danshin, and this here is danshin. So we want the Tulsi, which are these leaves here. So it gets a little confusing coming down in here and pulling these up. So we're just going to pull this one up, because I'm pretty sure this is a Tulsi. Yeah, this is Tulsi. Plus the stems on the Tulsi are really hairy. Can you see those hairs on there? And so some of these that I have been pulling up have had little babies right here on the end where the roots are. This one, of course, does not. But I'm just going to cut that root off. Let's see if I can find one that has some little babies on it so I can show you. So, like right over here, amongst the weeds and everything else that's in this bed going crazy. That's a danshin right there. So this here, so see right here how it's sprouting out new little growth. Oops, I got my hand all in there. Let's see. Kind of hard to maneuver this thing. All right. So see down in there where all those little babies are sprouting out. So it's trying, now that it's going to seed, it's trying to sprout babies. And I'll keep those little leaves on there, but they're not gonna. And see, here's a nice long taproot of a Tulsi. But see, even, can you see like right, I don't know if it's going to pick it up or not. It's not doing it, it's not focusing, I'm sorry. So right down here, where's my finger? Right there is a little sprout. So it's all the way down at the bottom that these are sprouting out. But we're going to get these out, and I'll come back later and talk a little bit more about how to dry them. Hey guys, welcome back. I did the videos of harvesting the Tulsi. It's been several months ago now, and So life, you know, kind of gets in the way and you don't get to do the things you really have planned on doing. So right now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what Tulsi or holy basil is good for. I have a little printout sheet of some different things that I looked up and from different herbalists, and so as I said in my Dan Shin video, Rosemary Gladstar says that if you get the same information from 3 different sources, trusted sources, then, you know, usually you can pretty much guarantee that, you know, it's pretty true to most people. Now, you know, not every person is going to react the same to every herb. So if you try something and it's not doing what it says it's good for you, then you maybe need to try something else. But you know, don't try it one time and think that it's just going to be a miracle cure, because it's not. And Tulsi is pretty safe. I've not heard of any contraindications. It doesn't interfere. I've got a dog jumping on me. It doesn't interfere with any drugs or anything that I know of. And so it's just, how are you, Piddler? So it's just, you know, it's safe to use. But as with anything, you know, crazy things happen. So just because it's safe to use by most people doesn't mean that you might not have a reaction to it. So, you know, just like with any drug that you take or anything else, always be careful. Always, you know, if you have any issues, stop taking it. Ask somebody, somebody that knows, you know, somebody around you that knows about herbs or the human body, or a doctor, a nurse, or something. So Tulsi, Ocimum tenuiflorum, which it used to be called Ocimum sanctum, and they switched the name, and it's in the Lamiaceae family, which is a mint family. It's also called sacred basil or holy basil, which I just call it Tulsi because it's just easier than saying holy basil. And you use the aerial parts, you don't use the root. Like with the danshin is also in the Lamiaceae family, but you use the root of that plant. And Tulsi, you can use it in tinctures, you can use it in tea. It's really good. People make pesto and sauces and quiches and all kinds of things with it. You can make a vinegar out of it. And someone also said you can make a poultice with it, which I'm not real sure. I'm not familiar with the poultice of a Tulsi plant, so I'm not real sure exactly what that does. But benefits of Tulsi is calming and uplifting. It's a cold and flu remedy. It's good for sinuses, anxiety, depression, allergies, asthma, coughs, cardiovascular disease, poor memory, and lack of concentration. It's been called an adaptogen, which that's one of its actions. I've got an adaptogen, an antioxidant, antidepressant, antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, carminative, diuretic, expectorant, galactagogue, anticatarrhal, immunomodulator, anti-inflammatory, hypotensive, hypoglycemic. And there's the different species and cultivars are the Rama, the Kapoor, and the Krishna, and Vana. So what I grow is Kapoor. I think it's a lot milder in flavor, so it's a lot better with tea and tincture and everything else. The other ones are usually grown, I think, in other countries because of the climate. Rama is most common in India. It looks a little different. It has like a purple stem. Krishna is very pungent, and it has purple leaves and stems. And on this, I have a note that says that one is the best one for your sinuses. The Vana is wild Tulsi or African basil. It's another species. That's what it says on here. It has velvety gray hairs and pale lavender blooms. It looks a lot different, and it grows up to 6 feet tall, which my Tulsi out there got pretty tall, but it wasn't 6 feet. And it smells kind of like cloves. It does say for a contraindication here to avoid in pregnancy if you're trying to conceive. Anytime that you're pregnant, you need to really be careful with herbs or drugs or anything else. It says it can modify blood sugar regulation, so monitor that if you have diabetes. Also says animal studies have shown a decrease in sperm count and motility and decreased sexual behavior with very extremely high doses. So I don't know that anyone's going to take enough to do that, but who knows. Its medicinal uses were first documented over 2,000 years ago. So Tulsi is Sanskrit for the incomparable one. Few plants on this planet have won the hearts of countless humans as holy basil has. So in India, it's considered a sacred plant, and it's planted outside of your homes and temples to purify and bless the surroundings. It's sanctified with morning prayers. So you can tell this is like a very highly revered plant, and it grows like crazy. Let's see, Tulsi is a folk remedy in India for common conditions like respiratory ailments, asthma, bronchitis, chest cold, sinus infections, allergies, cold and flu. It benefits the respiratory tract through a number of channels, reduction of excess mucus through its antimicrobial and immunomodulating qualities. Also used as a digestive aid to help with gassiness. It's given to infants to reduce colic, not tolic. What in the world? Where did I get that from? In Thailand, holy basil is used as a home remedy for gas and digestion, peptic ulcers, cough, sinusitis, and headaches. Ayurvedic practitioners use it in the treatment of type 2 diabetes. It has demonstrated favorable effects on blood sugar levels and lipid metabolism. Holy basil is a traditional heart tonic herb offering support from a number of medicinal actions, including its antioxidant qualities, ability to lower blood pressure, and capacity to reduce excess cholesterol. Let's see. Okay, it helps increase focus and clarity, making it especially useful for elders with declining cognitive abilities, children and adults with ADHD, and students who are simply wishing to increase their ability to assimilate and retain new material. So, with all of that, and with how easy Tulsi grows around here, which I'm in North Carolina, and well, it's like north central North Carolina on the North Carolina-Virginia border. So it grows really well here, and it spreads really prolifically here. And I don't know, if elsewhere it does the same or not, but here it reseeds itself, it comes back every year, and I've thought about, I think I've actually purchased seeds, but once I got it going in my garden out there, I see plants everywhere, which if you've watched any of my videos, you've seen where I have Tulsi popping up all over the place. I mean, it's even in the grass. It comes up out in the grass where I've thrown because when I get done harvesting and I take the plants and throw the tops and the seed pods and all that stuff out there, and they just sit out there, and then next thing you know, I've got a Tulsi growing everywhere right there where I laid those. So, I mean, I'm not even planting the seeds. I'm not doing any of that. The seeds are just falling on the ground. They're germinating and they're popping up. So, it's really easy to grow. The most difficult part for me about Tulsi, which I've done a lot of work this year on harvesting Tulsi, oh my goodness. So, it's very leggy. And if you don't, get out there and keep on those flower heads and keep topping them off, it gets you get these really long branches, and then you'll have a branch this long and it'll have maybe 10 little leaves on it. And so it's a lot of bulk to deal with. So what I've learned this past year with all the Tulsi that I've harvested and taken care of and done is if I go ahead and pinch the leaves off and then let the Tulsi dry like that, to me, for my personal opinion, the Tulsi dries a lot better, and it's a lot less worry and hassle, because I don't have a whole lot of room to be putting all this Tulsi, and I don't have a dehydrator that I can dehydrate the stuff in either. So I have racks that I put my plants on, and I put the whole plant there and let it dry, and then once it's dry I usually process it. And with Tulsi I was doing that, but it was such a pain to deal with once the everything was dry, and I was trying to get the leaves off of it, and it was just almost impossible to find the leaves because now they're the same color as the stems, and they're little and shriveled up, and so I'm trying to find them and get them off the stems, and it just felt like it was just a lot of work for not a lot of product. And plus too, I don't like to hang it up and dry it because the leaves are so fickle. Once they start drying, they'll fall off, and I don't want a bunch of Tulsi leaves in the floor because I have dogs, and I really don't want dog hair in my in my herbs. So I have drying racks, and I bought one off of Amazon that is a plastic thing, and it sits on top of each other. It's got several trays, and so I just lay it on that and let it dry. But just one harvest from Tulsi, I mean, that thing has like 10 trays on it, and it would fill it to the brim, and then I would have anywhere to put anything else. So this way, if I pick off the little leaves, I would use 1 or 2 of those trays and just spread the leaves out really good. And then, you know, I've got room for other stuff. So that to me was a lot easier. It was just very tedious. It is very tedious to take all those leaves off, and my finger usually ends up turning green after I pinch all those things off, and it usually takes me several hours, depending on how big my harvest is, several hours to get all the leaves off. But I have lots of Tulsi. I could take you over here and show you this big bin full of Tulsi leaves that I have harvested this year, which I'm going to tincture some of that, I think. So I know I have tincture of my own, and plus I need to make up some tea blends. People love Tulsi tea, and I have some good blends that I sell here. So anyway, that's my spiel on Tulsi, and I got some of that stuff from Juliet Blankspor, who is with the Chestnut School of Herbalism, and she's really good. And I can't remember where else I got some of that stuff, but I know I got it from her. I probably got it out of that one book that I use so much by Thomas Easley, which is probably behind me because I use it so much. Well, or not. I thought it was back there. Huh. I don't know where it is. But it's around here somewhere. I use it all the time, so I'm constantly losing it and then finding it and then losing it and then... So, Thomas Easley, it's his book on herbs. And I look in there for a lot of stuff too because he has some really good information. He has a lot of ways to do herbs, and he tells you how to make tinctures and salves and oils and all kinds of stuff, and flower essences too. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up, and I'm sorry it took me so long to get the Tulsi video out there, and hopefully I will do better at getting some videos out. Like I said in my last Dan Shin video that I just recorded as well, tax season's coming up, so I don't know how often I'll be able to be taking videos. I will probably be incognito for until maybe May. Which is when things start kind of slowing down and everything. Although, I'm planning on getting some plants started this year, and I may be able to take a couple of videos while I'm starting plants and get that stuff uploaded and show you guys that, because I really do like sharing this stuff with y'all. And I'm hoping, you know, to get more people interested in herbs and growing them, and, you know, for their families especially, because, you know, to me, it's just so much easier to do preventative things like this and take natural things to keep your body healthy than it is to be really sick and go to the doctor and end up on some prescription for the rest of your life. Or, you know, because prescriptions are expensive and they're not very easy on our bodies. Even though they may be helping with one thing, sometimes they're really messing up another thing in your body. So you need to be careful with that and just, you know, pay attention to your body and what it needs. And as always, when you take an herb, if you don't feel like that it's doing what you think it needs to do, then maybe you need to back off and try something else. But give it some time to work well. But I mean, if you're having like a serious reaction, then yeah, you need to stop and try something else. Not every herb is perfect for everybody. You need to find what works for you. And always do your own investigating and check things out and make sure that you don't have anything, or the herb or the flower. You might be allergic to asters or flowers in the aster family, so you know, you need to be careful with chamomile and different things like that. So you know, you need to pay attention with the different herbs and figure out what families they're in and what their traits are before you know, just start taking stuff. So anyway, Thanksgiving's coming up. I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. I hope you're surrounded by family and enjoy your meals and enjoy spreading the love to each other. And I hope you guys subscribe and like our channel and like the video, and sign up for notifications. Hit the little bell over there beside the subscribe button, and so you'll get a notification whenever we upload something. And we really appreciate any comments. If you have a favorite Tulsi recipe that you want to share, that would be great. If you know of anything else you want to add, I would love to hear from you. But yeah, just let us know, and I hope to see you guys and hear from you soon. Peace.